Are you thinking about moving to Santa Maria, California? Well, today we're going to dive into my computer. I'm going to go over some of the negative things about Santa Maria, California. It just has to be done. If you look at my other videos, I already did a video on everything that I love about Santa Maria, but there are definitely some downfalls about Santa Maria as well. So, my name is Bruce Carson. I'm with Keller Williams Realty Central Coast. If this is your first time to the channel, make sure you subscribe and tap that bell icon so you'll be the first to know when I post more information about moving to Santa Maria or anything about the Central Coast here in California. So it doesn't matter to me if you're moving in 9 days or 90 days. I'm here to help. Just help you make a smooth move to Santa Maria. So here we go. I have 10 items we're going to go through. We're going to flip through some slides and make sure that you hang around to the very end because there's a lot of good tidbits in here. Okay, so these items are not necessarily in any particular order, but the first one that I have is a limited nightlife scene in Santa Maria. If you're used to being in the big city and like the big clubs and dance clubs and loud music and all that, we just don't have a lot of options in Santa Maria. We have smaller bars, smaller nightclubs. So if that's really something that you're after, that may have a tendency to have people shy away from moving to Santa Maria, especially the younger crowds that are really into, dancing and raves and all kinds of fun stuff. Okay, so number 2 on my list is the risk of wildfires. So Santa Maria is the northernmost town of Santa Barbara County. And while the city itself is kind of away from the forest and in between the national forest and the beach is the city of Santa Maria. But out to the east, where we start getting into the foothills, that's where we're going to have some high fire hazards for wildfires. And sadly, in California, this can affect who's buying and who's selling in these areas because a lot of insurance companies have recently moved out of California because of the wildfires and problems that we've been having over the past few years. So make sure you do your homework before you buy a home. Make sure you get that natural hazard disclosure and make sure you're not in a high fire hazard zone because your insurance might be through the roof or you might not be able to insure your property at all. So yes, that's a bit of a downfall for the wildfires. Again, I don't think that it's going to get into the city of Santa Maria, but all of the outskirts. Is foggy conditions in Santa Maria. Some people don't like the fog. We don't get that valley Tule fog. Most of the fog that we have is from the coastal marine layer. So it's not quite as thick and soupy as you may have experienced in some of the California valleys. But if you don't like the fog, it can be depressing. It can make it difficult to drive, difficult to see where you're going when you're trying to drive. And it brings some people down. They just don't like the fog. And that's okay. But I just want to mention it because we will have fog, especially in the mornings and the evenings. It can affect your commute and it can affect your lifestyle. So some people may decide, hey, no, Santa Maria is not for me just because of the fog. Okay, next up is the proximity to the earthquake fault lines. We're right along the coast on California, and the western part of California is slowly sliding up. We're heading towards San Francisco. We're not going very quickly, but it is happening. And there are a lot of fault lines down here in northern Santa Barbara County. So I've been here for 22 years, and I've only experienced one earthquake, and that was actually based up in Atascadero, and I was here in Santa Maria, and that's still, it was around Christmas time. It shook ornaments off the tree, gave us a good shake, rattled the windows and everything. No major damage in Santa Maria, but we did have some damage up there in Atascadero and Paso Robles. So it's a California thing. A lot of us that are born and raised here have just learned to deal with it and just put earthquakes out of our mind. When they hit, they hit. There's nothing you can do about it. By the time you figure out what you're going to do when an earthquake hits, it's usually over. So, but these lines behind me, this is a map of the fault lines, and there are a lot of faults here in California. Okay, well, another downfall about Santa Maria is we have water issues. There's no doubt about it. Central California, we have had a lot of years of drought, that's for sure. Right now, that's not a concern. We've had plenty of rain last year and up until this year. We have ample rain, and so our aquifers are filled back up, and we're doing really quite well. The lake is full up in Lopez, and other bodies of water are full that are around us. However, that water situation can be dire. That there's droughts, and then there's also agriculture runoff. That's what this photo is showing here. So yes, there's fertilizer in the agriculture and out in the fields, and then when the rain comes and what other events that wash that river out or the water out to the rivers and start moving it around, that can be a problem with the water as well. So we do have our own challenges with water. I hope that doesn't scare you away from buying a house. Is traffic. It's getting worse. Even when you're driving around town over the past decade or so, Santa Maria is getting more and more congested as you navigate through the streets of Santa Maria. So you're going to be sitting at a lot of stoplights. The stoplights tend to be pretty long as well. So be patient, time out your trips, hang in there. You're going to get there, but there will be some delays. We are also starting to feel commute delays like you see here. People in the morning going from here, Santa Maria, up to San Luis Obispo or the five cities. There are a lot of people that make that commute because the prices are cheaper for housing in Santa Maria. And then on the way home, that 5 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon, it's the same situation. All of those drivers are trying to get back down to Santa Maria, and we end up with traffic jams like this. It's not horrible. It's not stop and go like it is in LA and going through Santa Barbara, but it is, it's slowing down, and it's probably not going to get a whole lot better because of one of my next slides. There's just not a lot of infrastructure growth or plans for infrastructure to grow to handle all these people and commuters. Lastly, with traffic is on big weekends, especially, the holidays in the winter will get a lot of traffic, but during the summertime, on the weekends, we get a lot of traffic. You just go and want to pay attention to it. It's part of California, but we have people moving from the Central Coast here, going up to the Bay or down to LA, and everyone else in between going up and down. The 101 is really a main thoroughfare. It goes from San Francisco to Los Angeles, it goes all the way up the coast. So traffic is becoming an issue that also kind of goes hand in hand with the lack of public transportation. Next up is development constraints. Again, next up is development constraints. So Santa Maria is, it's a flat, it's out in the valley. We have to the east of us, we have vineyards and fields of strawberries and other produce that goes all the way into the town of Santa Maria and out west toward the beaches. So there is land here where we could grow and expand, but there are a lot of limitations because of the agriculture and what people are doing here for work. So Santa Maria can grow, it will continue to grow, but it is going to continue to be pretty limited because of the environmental factors with the agriculture and just other factors that are just through the local, government, and nobody really wants to see a lot of growth here in Santa Maria. So it is restricted. It's going to stay small ish. It is one of the biggest towns or cities on the Central Coast, but yeah, pretty limited growth. Okay, so this is it. Last one. This is number 10, again, in no particular order. But Santa Maria, we do have a tendency to get some bad air quality. The main reasons for poor air quality in Santa Maria, those wildfires that we were just talking about. We get smoked out. California has a lot of wildfires. We even have wildfire season, and it doesn't really matter how far away these fires are from Santa Maria or from where you are in California. Eventually, you're going to get some fallout. Your car is going to be a mess. You're going to smell the smoke, get those watery eyes. It just happens. It's part of California. We just get used to it. So another factor that can pollute the air is all of the agriculture on the ground. So when it's time to turn crops and we have the big tractors going out there and turning the crops, they kick up a lot of dust. And Santa Maria has a tendency to be quite windy. So then that dust is going to blow with the wind and really affect the air quality. And then the last thing, because you're going to smell it and you're going to say, hey, what is going on here in Santa Maria? When they turn some of the crops like broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts, they turn those crops, that wind picks up, and it is smelly. It makes the whole town of Santa Maria stink. It goes away, it will blow away, but it's going to continue to happen. It's going to be back every single year. So just a heads up. You're going to have some air quality issues. You're going to have some offensive smells, and you're going to see a lot of dust particles. So you may be sneezing and having allergies, etc. But so that's it. Those are my 10 items, my 10 cons for moving to Santa Maria. Make sure, again, you subscribe to the channel so you'll be the first to know when I post more videos about Santa Maria and all the other towns here on the Central Coast. Uh, my name is Bruce Carson with Keller Williams Realty Central Coast, and I'm here to help you with a smooth transition to the coast. Okay,